All right, Fox News alert now as jury selection gets underway today in the trial of the Boston bombing suspect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev. This comes after a federal appeals court denied an effort to delay this trial and to move it out of Boston. Tsarnaev is accused of detonating 2 homemade explosives near the race's finish line in 2013. 3 people were killed in that explosion, and 260 people were injured, and many of them are still struggling with those injuries today. Molly Lyon joins us now live from Boston on this. So, Molly, it's been a long road to get to this day. So what do we expect to happen in court today?
Yeah, well, first off, Martha, here outside of the building, there's a very high security presence. Not a surprise there. We've seen Homeland Security vehicles flanking the front of the building, the U.S. Coast Guard in the back of the building. This building, the Boston Federal Courthouse, is on the water here, so the Coast Guard is flanking the back in the harbor right now. As you mentioned, despite the best efforts on the part of the defense team to protect Dzhokhar Tsarnaev and to try to move this trial out of Boston, to try and delay the trial, jury selection is getting underway today. The jurors are expected to be pulled from a pool of about 1,200 people. There will be 12 jurors selected, 6 alternates, and this could be a very, very long trial, expected to last possibly for months. Judge George O'Toole will be presiding over the course of this trial, and the witness list could potentially be very, very long, in the hundreds, not just beginning just with the simple thing of spectators that were there when this bombing actually occurred in the city of Boston. A long day ahead. They'll be filling out questionnaires, kicking off this morning, getting a few instructions from the judge to start things. And for the next 3 days, that'll be the process. There will be a group of around 200 to 250 jurors starting in the morning, another group in the afternoon, and that'll go on through Wednesday. Martha?
Well, obviously, you can understand why his representatives would argue that they needed to move it out of this area, because everybody, obviously, in Boston and that whole area were so personally affected by this crime. So, I mean, you know, it's going to be tough to find a jury that they can really say will be unbiased. Big challenge.
Yeah, and just the large number of jurors that are being pulled in for this case gives us some perspective as just how much work is going into finding these jurors a fair jury. And keep in mind, this is a death penalty case. Tsarnaev, now 21, alleged to have carried bombs to the finish line along with his older brother Tamerlan Tsarnaev, who was killed during the subsequent manhunt in a shootout with police. Those bombs allegedly put down and set off in the midst of a huge crowd filled with women and children. In fact, 2 young women and a child were killed right there at the finish line. So because this is a death penalty case, that'll be one of the things that'll be a big concern, asking people that could potentially sit on this jury how they feel about the death penalty. Martha?
So heartbreaking looking at the faces of those young people and remembering those who lost their lives on that day. It's going to be a trial that we will all be watching really closely. Molly, thank you very much.